If they can define, then they can confine. And I'll give you one more. If we don't listen, then they will imprison. If we don't listen, then they will imprison. Thank you to all of the people of the Cree Nation who are allowing all of us settlers to exist on this land. We owe you an enormous debt, and I hope that one day we will repay that debt. I want to make a few things clear. If they, and when I say they, I'm talking about the Harp-right neocons, if they can define, then they can confine. I want to make sure that you remember that, so say it with me. If they can define, then they can confine. You see, they say that Bill C-51 is to stop terrorism, but you see, the problem is they control the definition. They decide what terrorism is. You want to protest unfair work conditions, so you have a strike, which is one of your foundational democratic rights. They can just call that terrorism. You want to protect the environment, they can just call that terrorism. You want to have a demonstration about anything to work in favor of the rights of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people, they can call that terrorism. Because the fact is, and you know it and you already said it, if they can define, then they can confine. So what does C-51 give them the evil supervillain powers to do? Let's have a look. They can arrest people because they claim that a crime may be carried out instead of will be carried out. Now imagine how that works. Imagine if you could insist that your boss will pay you because you may work. They don't do that. But they want the powers to arrest you because a crime, not even one that is connected to you, might be committed. They want preventative detention, which is already an attack on freedom, which is currently at 3 days. They want the power to arrest you and throw you into a cell somewhere for 7 days. 7 days, no real charges, just the claim that you may be involved with something bad. That's straight out of Minority Report, the movie, where they think they can see the future, or at least they tell you they can arrest you before you've done anything wrong. They want judges to have the power to impose passport surrender, a ban on leaving the jurisdiction, and electronic monitoring of you on their claims of suspicions against you. That's straight out of 1984. They want to criminalize what they call promoting terrorism. But again, you see, they define terrorism. So if you're some right-wing nut job on talk radio who says that we should bomb Iran and kill millions of people, well, that's just fine. You'll just get extra commercials running on your show from war corporations. But if you're an ordinary citizen who wants to promote a boycott against a corporation or a country involved in human rights abuses or war crimes, then they can snatch you up. Because if they can define, then they can confine. So they want to allow CSIS to what they call disrupt threats, what they claim are threats. But you know, those of you who know history know about our American cousins and how their government used what they call the counterintelligence program, or COINTELPRO, and they will spy on you. They will send in agent provocateurs, tricky agents who will actually entrap you into doing things that you had no ability or plans to do, and then they'll arrest you for a crime that was their idea. And if you don't believe me, then simply go to your computer, go to your mobile device, and simply Google search the word COINTELPRO, thoroughly documented by historians, and you better believe that they're practicing the same tricky tricks right here in Canada. They want to seal court proceedings, but of course we know that a sealed court is an unjust court. Justice in the darkness is never justice. They want to expand the no-fly list. Well, you know, you just want to leave Canada because it's your right as a free citizen to do so. I know of a place that used to have a no-fly and a no-drive list. It was called the Soviet Union. You couldn't leave unless the government said you could, and that's exactly what they want to do right here. Our neocons love free trade, but apparently they don't love free travel or free people. They want to give 17 government agencies, and get this, they even want to give foreign governments the power to spy on your financial status, medical history, sexual orientation, religious, and even political beliefs. And I thought conservatives were supposed to love freedom. The neocons want the power to mayhair or rar any Canadian at any time for any reason. They say they love law and order and freedom. They mean they love the laws that give them the power to order you and the freedom to do anything they want. Now, you know, maybe you could make this all better, just maybe, if you could write a $90,000 check anytime you felt like it. But we as honest citizens don't just happen to have an extra 90 grand lying around to make problems go away. Everyone who thinks for even 2 seconds, and hopefully a lot longer, is against this bill. People across this country, demonstrators today, free citizens, the Canadian Journalists for Free Expression, even the Globe and Mail, that right-wing paper, says that C-51 turns CSIS into a secret police force. If they can define, then they can confine. And I'll give you one more. If we don't listen, then they will imprison. If we don't listen, then they will imprison. If we don't listen, then they will imprison. Is Bill C-51 even legal? Well, the Stevie neocons, they say it's legal. But you know what? There's an Ontario lawyer who said, prove it. Show me your legal opinion, Steve. Show me what you got. And Stevie's people said, sure. If you write me a check for $4,772.80, that's to retrieve the documents of their legal proceedings. So let me get this straight. Our taxes pay their salaries and their lawyers to write stuff against us to take our freedom, and we actually have to pay to see what they've done to us. Weren't conservatives supposed to hate taxes? Isn't that a tax on free information that you already paid for them to create against you? So that shows you how trustworthy these people are. Let's just say this. We've got some chances right now. We got a chance to show them who's boss. Are you with me? Here's how it's going to work. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but you can already guess who I'll tell you to vote against. Now, even right here, right now, in Alberta, we got an election coming up. And I want to make sure that you vote, and I want to tell you why. Because if, and the polls make it look like this is true, this once-in-a-lifetime experience where these people could get knocked out of occupying our provincial legislature. Can you imagine the shockwaves that will send through conservatives across this country when they see conservatives go down here in Alberta? You know, just for the show of hands or applause, how many of you saw Star Wars? Okay. At the very end, Rebels zipping down the trench. Luke's got that visor away. He's going to use the Force. And a guy walks up to Grand Moff Tarkin and he says, maybe we should prepare an escape vehicle. And Grand Moff Tarkin says, I think you overestimate their chances. And then he bites his nails because he was about to get blowed up real good. In Alberta, we don't have Grand Moff Tarkin. We got Grand Moff Prentice. And he and all of his folks are about to get gone if you and your friends and your family go out to vote on voting day. Are you going to do that? But you know, if they go down here in Alberta, then federally, it's not going to be like the end of Star Wars. It's going to be like the end of Return of the Jedi. Because, you know, the Emperor was already down that shaft. Darth Vader lost a hand, was lying on the floor. Luke's just waltzing out of the Death Star, and the stormtroopers aren't even shooting at him. They're running for their lives because they know the game's over. So what I'm saying to you is, with Sith Lords like Darth Maul Redford, Count Dooku Danielle Smith already down, all we have to do is take out the Sith apprentice, and then the federal neocons are next, and they can ride Bill C-51 to hell. And one last thing on this, just want to remind you that Jar Jar Trudeau is in favor of C-51. So let's send him back to Naboo and the swamps where he belongs.